morning, guys. It is 7:47 a.m. here in Dallas, Texas, and I want to welcome you to this session of forex analysis. So before we get into it, I'm gonna go over the news and see if there's anything of high impact. So today's Thursday, August 20, and we can see there's really no very high impact news for today. There is a bit of news for the CAD and the USD, unemployment claims, the manufacturing index, and um, the non-farm employment change. So that's for CAD and USD. Other than that, there's no really major news that would affect. And this is at 7:30, so it's past already. So whatever happened, we're gonna check in the news. Sorry, we're gonna check whatever happened on the chat. If you haven't followed me, if you're watching my video for the first time, you can go on TradingView, search for I am Niger Youth One. There I've put some of my ideas. You can see my public ideas. I just posted quite a few videos. And you can also go on YouTube and search for Ife Michael. I currently have 19 subscribers and I post my analysis there. So let's go onto the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so I'd marked all these pairs previously last night, and I'm looking for some great movements for today. So this is EURUSD. I'm hoping to buy. There are two places I could have bought this. Above this purple zone, up until here, which would be towards the golden ratio 1.9071 there, about that axis. Or you could, if you were awake, you could have bought from here. But right now what we're waiting for is a movement from above here, from above this purple zone, so we can buy up here. So as for EURUSD, I'm still going to show you how I come up with all these ideas for people who are just watching me for the first time, who haven't been following how I do my analysis. These are all just technical analysis. I go off the news sometimes, but not quite much. So let's see what happened. As of 20 minutes ago, within the hour, you can see the reaction, not so much. So we're hoping to buy EU from this purple zone up here. Let's go to EURGBP. So in the past, within the past couple of hours, the British pound has gained significant strength compared to the euro, which was why it fell so deeply here. However, my bias, as at the time I was marking this, is a buy from this yellow zone up until here. That was happening when it broke this trend line. That was already happening. It went down. Let me see if there was a British news, if there was a pound news. So there was an euro news. Okay. Okay. So maybe this did have an effect on it. But like I said, I almost never go off the news. I use mark technicals. So two things we can do now for this EURGBP. One is to wait for this purple zone, this yellow line, which is acting as my golden ratio, to be broken. And like we've forecasted before, we buy up here. So we'll wait for two things. One, we'll wait for this trend line here to be broken, this trend line to be broken, and this to be broken. Once that happens, that should give a good confirmation for a buy. However, we do have other confirmations that we use, but this is just to show you an overlook of what we have for today. So not necessarily this is not necessarily like a breakdown, you know, but I might do a breakdown right after I show you all the pairs I'm looking at. Okay, so this is GBP and ZD, and from here I got in a buy. I'm buying towards there, but of course that doesn't mean it's gonna get there. So we're gonna watch and see what's going on, and you can see that's already looking good. GBP I had marked it that once it breaks this trend line here and this trend line, that we have a good buy, just like GBP and ZD. So that's playing out pretty well as well. We do have a target above here, so eventually we're trying to target somewhere around 1.86 for this. For gold, however, well, I'm looking to my main buy, which is going to be a higher stake, will be from here, from around 1980, and we can buy to 2080, you know. But right now, my trade looks to favor a buy towards here, and unless this is broken, do we buy from up here? So just watch that and be careful. So let me load a new chart layout, and let's go to class. So this is class. So for today's class, I'm going to go over EURUSD. That's going to be my pair for the class today. So first thing I want to do, by the way, I mark my charts on TradingView, and MT4 is where I input my trades. All right. So the first thing I do is this. We go to the monthly. You want to see what exactly is happening throughout, and there are few indicators that I use. So before I get to indicators, let me take this off. Okay. Let me take everything off. Good. So your charts is gonna come like this. Remember, I put it in the monthly. So on the monthly time frame, this is what it looks like so far. So the first thing I use is the pivot high and low. So this tells me where the points where there was a pivot, where there was either a max high or a max low, where there was a turning point. So there were reactions at those places, and that makes them important for me. Another thing that I use is this. I use the SMA 50. I can give you the settings later for those that reach out to me. Okay. And of course, I use the Fibonacci. So now that I've put the SMA 50 and the pivot points, first thing I do is this. I bring up my Fibonacci. Okay. I then try to see what's going on. So this is so far back from here to my left all the way so far back. So I should analyze from there, but you don't necessarily have to if you don't want to, because that's a whole lot of time frame. All these little candles you see, each candle, this candle is a month, a month, 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 month. So all these candles you see they represent 1 month, because we're in a monthly time frame. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I bring up my Fibonacci from this point right here. Okay, I drag it down to the pivot low, which means that price swung from up here to down here. Okay, let's take that off. So one of the ways I trade is this. Based on Fibonacci, I believe that, and my settings is different from other people's settings for Fibonacci, so you can ask me for my own personal settings. So from this swing low, from this high point to this low point, we expect that there will be a reaction. Because what happens, like I always say, is this: price does what? Price comes down, it reacts, and if it's going to continue, we have this for a trend continuation. If it's not going to continue the downward trend and it's going to break it, then we'll have something like this, and then it will come down and then continue the uptrend again. So that's kind of the way the market moves. Okay, so let's see. Now, the market had moved from up here down here. So based on my own way of trading, I believe that this should react and retrace towards 0.618, which is regarded to as my golden ratio. And what happened in this case, it did react and it did get 0.618, okay, which is good. So what happens next is this. Based on the fact that this has been a downtrend, if you check what's been going on from here, it's been going from here, it's been going all the way down. You see, this is a downtrend. It's been a downtrend generally. Okay, so based on the fact that it's been a downtrend, what do we expect from this little analysis that we've done? We'd expect two things, right? So we'd expect that if this trend will continue, then it's going to be something from here. It's going to continue down. Okay, so if that will be the case, then bring out your Fibonacci again. I'm going to take this Fibonacci. So let me put a ratio, a zone around there. And this is monthly. It takes a while to execute on a monthly. So except if you're a holder or you really do keep. Other than that, if you're a daily trader, I don't I don't see much business you go with this with the monthly. But yeah, it's good to have a good overview. So it reacted to here. And ideally, the next thing you want to do is this. Let's say you did not see all these parts. Let me cut off these parts. Let's cut it off. Let me cut it off to these parts. Okay. So let's say you didn't see the rest of what had happened, and you've just seen that price had retraced to the 0.618 golden ratio right here. The next thing you want to do is this. You want to bring out your Fibonacci again. Fibonacci should be your friend. Most traders use Fibonacci. So you want to bring out this, and then you will say, okay, because this is at a region here, two things can happen at this point. One, if it does break this level right here, if it breaks this purple level, then we're looking for buy. Of course, you now want to check how far your buy is going to be. However, because this is where it is and we're having a sort of trend continuation, which is like a downward trend, you bring out your Fibonacci and you expect that price should retrace at least to 0.618. To this level here. So if you were going to get in this trade and you didn't see what had happened, you want to enter a sell for the continuation towards here, right? And if this does not get broken, then that means the trend is about to reverse and we're looking to break the resistance. However, if this support gets broken, then it means that we're sinking a little bit down. So now let's see what happens. Meanwhile, remember, from this point, your own trade right now should be to sell to this point. So let's play and see how that played out. Boom, 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 boom. You can see. Okay. Let's keep watching. You can see. All right. And with this, you can see the reaction from here, the way it bounced up when it got to around the support. You can see this reaction. You can see what's going on when it got to that support, right? You can see. So from here, let me pause it. You would have, let me take this off. Let me take this off. Easy, you would have made yourself a whole lot of money on a monthly term. But this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oof, over a year to get all the way down there. But if for whatever reason you're one of those guys that trade like that, you can see already that you would have made your money right here. So two things would happen now. You want to check the reaction. You want to see what's going on at that point. From this point now, either, let's take this off, either we have from here back up to continue this up, down, up, right? Or we have a continuation of this trend here. And the way you want to know how far it's going to extend to, you bring out your fib trend-based extension, okay? Or we sell towards, oh, come on. We sell towards here, towards this point here. So if the support gets broken, so let's see how that played out. Let me take the magnet off. The magnet is making this thing act up. All right, so we'll see how this plays out now. This is the ultimate floor if it wants to continue this particular trend. So then put another purple zone right there. Okay, so I'm going to bring back my Fibonacci. Okay, so let's play and see. You can see the reaction around that support, but it looks like it's gonna break it. It looks like it's not, you know. So at that point, you want to wait. And finally, it did break it. It closed below it, right? It came back to test it as a new resistance. And okay, let's see. Okay, good. So from here now, you can see the reaction at the support. What does that tell you? It tells you that no, this is probably going to be what? Let's see. I'm gonna bring out my Fibonacci. These things are pretty easy. The more you do it, at some point it's gonna start getting like, I don't know. I don't want to say boring because you've done it so much, but it's a valuable skill to have. So now bring your Fibonacci to see this particular down trend, okay? And see the reaction. So from this point, we can see that it's not coming down here. We want to see how far up it's gonna go. Put your Fibonacci to test. If you draw your Fibonacci from this particular swing, which came, this particular swing low, this swing from here to here, where do you think it's going to retrace to is what we're trying to find out. So once you draw your Fibonacci, this is 0.618, put a zone there. Let's do another thing. Let's say we did not see, let's say we did not see all these parts. Okay, let's say we did not see all this part, but you saw this green candle, you saw the reaction around the support, right? Okay, so where do you think this thing is going to retrace to? Wait for it to break this resistance again, and then we buy to 0.618. We buy to 0.618. Okay, so let me put a zone where we want to buy to. And there's a reason why it's mostly accurate this way, because most traders call it different names, but use about the same, I would say, strategy. There's still a common practice. There's still a common kind of education that is going around, and the more such education goes around, the more people will trade in a particular way. The more people trade in a particular way, the more the charts will go in a particular way, except when the big boys really come in and they put the big influx of money to move the market either way. But that doesn't happen every time, and when that happens, it could also be in your favor. So once it crosses this purple zone now, we'll be saying we're buying towards it. Let's see how that goes. Okay, you can see it. Boom. Let's pause it. You can see what happened. The big candle went from this support, it broke it, it came back down to confirm it as a support. And then if you bought from here, you would have made so much money for yourself. Now, from this point that we are now, what do we want to do next? Here's what we want to do next. Two things could happen from this point. Either this becomes a resistance and we'll continue the trend, which was like this. Either we'll continue this boom, boom, and then back down, or we break this resistance. If we do break this resistance, then we ride up, ride up. Okay. So now let's find out what we're gonna do, what it's gonna be, so we can pick our own trade. We're at a key level where we can get a trade. Okay. So now, two ways you can buy this from this point here. One way is this: bring your fib extension and buy towards here, this level up here. Or from here, because this is 0.618 support, we have a trend continuation to where? To here. Sell to this point. But before we do any of that, this is what our own trade will be like. Remember that two things I've said now, two ways this trade can go. Either from up here, comes back to this level, the same level that it was before, or here, or we come down here. So now this is where your trend, this is where your trend line will come in. So we can pick a trade. This is where your trend line will come in. So bring your trend line from the last pivot high to the next pivot high and see what's going on. So you can see from here that this green candle actually broke this trend line. So 1, 2, and then the third time it broke this trend line. So let's see if it will come back to test it. If it doesn't, then we're coming up. So my own bias right now would be a buy towards here. And the reason for that is because it's broken this my trend line. So now the trade could be either way. One way is this, boom, boom. We'll have a reaction towards back towards here. Yes, let me show you what I'm talking about. And this is me still on the monthly time frame. Like I said, monthly time frame is a whole lot. You know, it takes so much to execute all these things I'm talking about. You saw the other one that took a year plus. So from down here, if it closes below this, we can be looking to sell to here, and then from here we'll buy up. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how that goes from this point. Okay. Oh, I think this is where the current price is right now. Oh yeah, it is. So that's where the current price is. It's broken this trend line. It's at a very, very, very key resistance, and you can see that's why there is a reaction there. So let's go to a lower time frame. At this point, we have to go to a lower time frame. So let's go to a lower time frame and see. Remember, from here, if it breaks here, we're looking to buy up until here, and there's a possibility that that might be the case. So let's take it to the lower time frame. So let's go to 1 week and see what happens. I'm going to take this off. So in 1 week, we can see that it's reacting towards a sell. It's generally, like this week, for example, has been a sell sort of, you know, it's deeping down. One place that would be a potential target might be here, and that would be a really, really, really that'll be a whole lot of pips. That'll be a whole lot of pips. So let's draw a trend line from this pivot high. Now, because we've picked our key zones, the trend lines are going to come into play. Okay. So for now, this is what it's going to look like because it's been in a sell week. We don't get in a sell for this on a weekly. We don't get in a sell for this, for a swing sell for this until this trend line actually gets broken. I don't see that happening this week, but if that's the case for the week, then that's going to be awesome. So if it breaks this trend line, then I'll be looking towards selling back to this place, but not until it does break it, because this has been a good bullish run. Okay, so let me go to daily. Right, so on a daily time frame, you can see today it's all red. Yesterday was red. Days before, it's been green, and it's been a nice bullish run. So what we might be having is a dip down to touch the trend line, and that is some good 250 pips thereabout. If you're trying to get in a sell for this for EURUSD, I think that might be a beautiful sell indeed. But we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so that's for the daily time frame. It's reacting right there. So let me put it in 4 hours. So let me put it in 4 hours. So in 4 hours, I do have a pivot low point right here. I have another one right there. So I believe that at the very least, this might want to come test this trend line again, like for the third time. However, this is a 4-hour chart. This is going to be executed in not too long. So bring out your Fibonacci again from the swing low right here to the swing high right here. We have a golden ratio right there, and we only buy down to this trend line if this is completely broken and it closes under it. So in that case, I wonder what's up with the US dollar index. Okay, so we might be in a buy. So I would take, let me take this off. Let me take this big purple zone off. Let me take this big purple zone off and only draw an horizontal line. So my horizontal line will be at the golden ratio, which is 1.18084. So from up here, from here, this is what I expect. Okay, so I expect that we would have from here swung up here to my golden ratio around here, and we're buying so this point here to continue this particular trend. Let me know if that makes sense. To continue this particular trend. However, let's see. Yeah. So, however, if that doesn't happen within the next 4 hours, like depending on the closure, we might be seeing a dip down towards this trend line here before going up, or it breaks it and we come all the way down. But I think because this is true, this buy here broke the previous high, the trend looks bullish to me. So for that reason, I'm not in favor of a sell. I'm more in favor of a buy. So my trade will be something like this, from here upward, or from here upward. But most likely my buy is going to be from here or from here to this point, which is a lot. I think that's some good, about over 200 pips. Yeah, about 250 pips. So to this point right there. Okay. So how did you come up with these things? Now let me show you. Let me show you. You can see the reaction around there, right? The EU. You can see the reaction around the EU there. Let's see. Okay, good. I think it might be a buy. I think it might be a buy. So the trend line here, from the pivot high to this second pivot high. Okay. So I'm expecting that the price of EURUSD, provided that the dollar gets weaker compared to the euro, I'm expecting that we're riding to at least touch this trend line, okay, in 4 hours. So my trade is going to look somewhat like this. Where's my long? This would be my trade for EURUSD. But let's get an entry. Maybe I would be getting back into this trade. So, but to be safe, I would put it back here. Okay. So my trade will look somewhat like this for EU or USD. And let me put it in 1 hour so we get a clearer view of what's going on. So in 1 hour, you can see all this reaction around there. And personally, this is what I'll be waiting for before I get back in a buy for this. Because I think it is going to be a buy, but I will only get in a buy above this line. How did I come up with that? This is the previous pivot low. This is the next pivot low, and I'm expecting, let me make that line dash so we can know what we're talking about. Dash it some more. Okay, so above here now is where I'm going to pick my buy from. So we can be watching it, and if you don't want to watch it, you can put a buy stop. You can put a buy stop around 1840, which is about 30 pips from where price is right now, so that you won't be waiting endlessly. So we put a buy stop from here and come in here. But the first target before we go all the way to fulfill this trend line is this. Bring your Fibonacci again. Remember the golden ratio I talked about. Put it there. And our first buy should come towards here. And that's our trade. So my trade will be a buy from above this point here, okay, to this point. That'll be my trade for EURUSD. And what did I use to come up with this thing? I'd used pivot high and low. I'd use my SMA 50. And the reason why I'm not even going to get in now, on the 1 hour time frame, you can see the SMA 50 is still showing red. It's still showing like it's sort of the moving average is still towards sell. Okay, so okay, yep. So let's buy from here to here. So put a buy stop. All right, so that'll be my trade for EURUSD. So we used pivot points high and low. We used SMA 50. We used the trend lines, and we used, importantly, the Fibonacci. So let's see how that plays out. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're watching on YouTube, kindly leave a comment, like, share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like me to improve on regarding the way I teach. And thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you really next time.